let's look at an example where we have the center of a circle and a point on the circle, and we want to find out the equation for that circle that's in standard form. So first of all, what is standard form for an equation of a circle? Standard form is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equal to r squared, where h and k represent the center, and r, not r squared, but just r, represents the radius. So as you can see, we already have the center, we're just missing the radius. So I put a coordinate plane up here because I wanted to graph it so that we can kind of visualize what this circle kind of looks like. It's going to be kind of hard for me to draw a circle. I am going to try my absolute best though. So first I'm going to plot my center, which is at -1, 3, which is right here. And then my point on my circle, which is at -5, 5, which is here. So there is my radius to my circle. Let's see if I can draw it. Oops, wrong button. So I couldn't find my circle, so I'm gonna just attempt. Hopefully you get the point. So here's my center, and this definitely doesn't look correct, but let's pretend like it is. And so I know that I'm looking for this distance here, and I can find the distance using the distance formula. So let's do that. Let's find the distance. So we have distance formula equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So let's go back to our points. We have from -1, 3 to -5, 5. Doesn't matter which one we make x1 our first point, our second point, as long as we keep up with it. So let's say that the center is our, oops, forgot. So center is our first point, and the point on the circle is our second point. So let's plug those values in. So I have x2, which is -5, minus, so that's going to be minus a -1 squared, plus y2, which is 5, minus y1, which is 3 squared. I'm going to move it up now so I can have more room. So I get d is equal to the square root of -1 plus 1, because the negative times a negative turns to a positive. So I get -4 squared plus 5 minus 3, which is 2 squared. Notice that I'm squaring everything, so negatives will go away. So I get the square root of 16 plus 4, which is the square root of 20. And the square root of 20, you recall, is really square root of 4 times 5. I can take the square root of 4. So I get 2 root 5. So the distance, or the radius, from our center to this point, which is our radius, let's see, will give me 2 root 5. So we can plug this now into our formula. So we have our center, which is at -1, 3, our formula, which is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And we have our h and our k here, and we have our r is equal to 2 root 5, so we just can plug in those values now. So we have x minus a -1, so that turns into plus 1 squared, and then y minus 3 squared equals, we already know the answer to this, but we'll put it anyway, 2 root 5, and we need to square that. So let's move it up just a little bit so we can do that math. And so 2 root 5 squared, what is that? So basically, oops, we'll do 2 root 5 times 2 root 5. So we get 4 times root 5 is 5, which is 20. So that's what I meant by we already know what the answer is. So we get x, because we just found it when we did the distance formula. is equal to 20. And what I mean by we found it, so our distance formula gave us 20, but gave us 20, but we took the square root of it to find the actual distance. And so we had to square it again to get the radius, our radius squared for our formula. So that just takes us back to that 20. So our final answer, our final equation for our circle is x plus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 20. And I hope this helps.